Hello everybody, Backyard Bullion here. So today I want to talk about metal purities. I want to talk about the different purities of gold and silver. But I don't want to talk about the different types of purities which are available and the pros and cons about investing in those different types of purities. That's a video for another time, which I will make at some point in the next couple of weeks, I think. But today instead I want to focus on how do we know, how do we as consumers, how do we as buyers know that this coin is in fact 49 silver? How do we know that these sovereigns are 22 karat gold? You know, how do we know this is 49 gold? How do we know that the hand poured silver that I make and that others make is in fact 999 silver? I think it's a really important question. It's a really important topic as well, certainly one which I paid a lot of attention to when I was starting to stack precious metals a little over 2 years ago. And in fact I remember the first batch of silver that I got in, I went through every single coin with a magnet test, and I've talked about different methods for testing your silver in the past, and I'm not going to rehash all of those again. Testing your silver is great and you should do that, but it's interesting that now, me as a seasoned stacker, and I like to call myself a seasoned stacker 2 years in, I know enough about silver, enough about coins, enough about these coins which I'm buying to understand that they are real, and I can spot fakes pretty quickly. And certainly the few times that I've had fakes come through eBay purchases, or even I had some hand-poured silver sent to me by a customer, and it was most certainly not 999 silver. There's something iffy about it, and I did a specific gravity test, and there's a whole video on that. I'll put a link down in the description below. It's a very interesting video. So I've got enough experience now to be able to know whether or not something is real. But that's not the crux of the question here. The crux of the question is, how do we know that the Royal Mint has put 9999 silver into this coin? How do we know that they've used 49 silver? How do we know they've used 49 gold? How do we know that these were 22 karat gold when they were created back in the 1800s? It's a really, really interesting question. It's one I've done a little bit of research on. So I want to tell you a little bit today about what's called the trial of the picks. Now, in the United Kingdom, that is a actual court trial that is put together by a High Court judge, and in fact it's put together by kind of the government. The Chancellor is essentially on trial, and the Royal Mint are on trial. And what happens is that throughout a particular production year, selections of the Royal Mint coins, and that's including regular circulation coins as well as all of the bullion types of coins. And in fact, for the bullion types of coins, for what I've been reading, every 1 in 150 of a particular type of coin is selected, taken to this trial of the picks. Go and Google it, it's really interesting. I'll put a link as well in the description to some information about the trial of the picks. But basically they take it to this this hall in London where they have a trial, and independent assayers and experts take the silver, take the coins, take the regular circulation coins, and they will examine them and they will take them off for chemical testing. They will make sure that the silver and the gold and anything that the Royal Mint has made meets to the standards of what it is said. So it's 49 silver. Now this is a tradition. It's a tradition, but it's actually a real trial. As I said, it's headed by a High Court judge, so it's definitely real and it definitely has consequences. Now it's been around since the 1200s. This trial has been around since the 1200s. It is a very, very long existing tradition, and it's one which is actually incredibly fascinating. So as I said, go and check out some of the information. I put a link in the description below, but it's called the Trial of the Picks, and it's called that because the coins which are selected are put in picks boxes, which used to be, I believe, sort of boxes that would be in a church or a vestry where they would keep robes and vestments and things like that, but it was kept in those boxes because they were big, secure wooden boxes back in the 1200s, and it's just become known as the Trial of the Picks. But it's really important because it holds the Royal Mint to account. So the Royal Mint every year has to go through this, and they have all of their silver, gold coins, regulation coins, circulation coins, etc. tested, and they haven't failed yet. But it's very interesting. So we know that buying from the Royal Mint is a good thing because the purity is what they say it is. Now that's, I guess, a really the core of the concept here about how you can protect yourself as a buyer. Buy from the big reputable mints. If you're concerned about having fake silver or having silver sent to you that's not the stated purity, make sure you stick to the big mints. You know, Perth Mint, Huge Mint, they're the same. You know, they might not necessarily have the same trial of the picks, but they certainly have very, very high quality control standards. And it's in their interest. Their reputation is too big to be blemished by one piece of fake silver coming out from their vaults. And the same with other big mints all the world around. Canadian mints, European mints, all of those types of things. It's all about reputation. So if you are looking to get into gold and silver and you don't know enough about, and you don't feel confident enough in yourself, you don't know enough about these coins to be able to really tell whether or not something is 999 pure or something like that, then stick to the big mints, buy those coins from the mints directly or from established bullion dealers which have relationships with those mints, and you can't go far wrong. But it's very interesting, and it's even down to the sort of sovereign coins. So these would be 22 karat gold. And interestingly enough, these sovereigns, by the way, are ones which I'm currently selling on eBay. So these are sovereigns which I have taken custody of on behalf of a friend who inherited them, and she just wants to have them sold. So we are selling them on eBay. We've got some final value fees auctions, so we're doing it basically up to the public market, what the public is going to do. I think we've got an 1870, an 1859 and 1849, I believe, here. So if you're interested in them, I'll put links in the description below to all of those sovereigns on eBay. So those, but even those are tested, certainly when they're brand new now, but these it would have been tested. So in 1870 there would have been a trial of the picks. And maybe not this particular coin, but certainly batches of the sovereigns that were made in that year would have been tested. So yeah, it's really very fascinating stuff, I think, and one which you should definitely look into if you're a history buff and you like these kind of things. But it's also, it's about reputation. So, for somebody like me, who in the UK, we are legally bound to hallmark silver that we are commercially selling. So you can see here on my silver bars, there are hallmarks, and these are the hallmarks down at the bottom, and they've been stamped 999 by the Edinburgh Assay Office, and you can see that here on the other one as well. Those are marks which have been put on because the Edinburgh Assay Office has physically tested my bars. They have, in fact, in some occasions, drilled into the bar, tested the core. They have, with a 99.9999% degree of certainty, or even 100% degree of certainty, because I believe that's the only real way that they would put the mark on, have ascertained that this is 999 silver. Now, that's for UK sellers, and I've already said in this video that there were some UK hand-poured silver that had been sent to me that somebody had bought, which was very much not 999. So it is going to be about reputation. There are people out there who will try and pull one over. They might plug their bars, which means they'll put a sort of lead core in the middle and have the silver all around it, so it looks and feels the same weight, but they've got a lead core in there. They might mix in some 925 silver or some copper into the whole mix so as to save a little bit of money. And if you're manufacturing thousands of ounces per year, if you can save 1, 2, 3, 5%, you save a lot of money, you can make a lot of money. So there are scammers out there are people out there that will do that. So I think in terms of being safe, if you're buying silver, if you're buying hand-poured silver, stick to some reputable people first so you get a real good idea of what a pure silver bar looks and feels like. If you can buy hallmarked silver, that's all the better because you know that it's real. And there are other people out there who do hallmarked hand-poured silver other than myself. There are lots of people, in fact, so it's really easy to get hold of those types of things. If you're outside the UK and you're buying hand-poured silver, from people in the US and the silver tube community, again, it's all about reputation, and you can't go much far wrong with these community pourers. They are essentially just fun hobbyists who are trying to make some cool pieces, and they have no real reason to fake their silver or to plug their silver or to do those types of things. But it's all about being sensible. So if something doesn't seem quite right, if it's too cheap, or if it's doesn't look quite right, then it probably isn't. That's follow your gut. That would be my advice. So that's kind of that's it basically on these types of things. It's very fascinating stuff, and I personally take a lot for granted now when I buy silver. I understand that there are fakes out there and things like that, but I have enough knowledge in myself that I understand that the coins which I buy are real. I have a lot of that kind of experience behind me, and I would suggest that any of you out there who are looking to get into gold and silver, do a similar thing to I did. Get a couple of fake coins just to familiarise yourself with what they look like. Compare them against the real coins that you've got in your collection as well, and you'll be able to quickly tell the difference. Also, get to learn your kind of sizes of your coins. Know what diameters they should be, know what thickness they should be, know what edges they should have, and all of those types of things, so that when you get a coin through in the post, you can tell pretty quickly whether or not something is real or not. So that's all I really have to say on this particular topic. I think it's a fascinating one. I'd love to hear your comments. Please do share what you think about this. Please share your experiences as well about buying silver, buying gold, whether or not you test every single piece of silver that comes in. I know there will be people out there that do, and it's advisable to do that, but if you're buying hundreds or thousands of ounces at a particular time, it can be pretty tricky to actually test every single one. But yeah, do let me know your thoughts. Comment in this video. As I said, there are some links to these sovereigns which I'm selling on eBay, and I'll put a link to those, trial of the picks and things like that as well. Fascinating stuff, really is. But do make sure that if you like this video, that you put a thumbs up on it. That would be very helpful for everything that I do here at Backyard Bullion. And if you could share the video on any social media that you have, that would also help a lot. If you like this kind of content and you want to see more, then please make sure that you subscribe to my channel. I've got videos 4 times a week, usually Wednesday, Friday, Saturday and Sunday. So please make sure you hit that subscribe button, and if you hit the little alarm bell next to it, you'll get a little notification when I upload future videos. Otherwise, all that's left for me to say is thank you so much for watching, and please make sure that you like, share, comment and subscribe for more.